We're done already.
Good. You could go to your adorable. Oh, shut
We'll go by the official council room clock. I'll officially call this meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order for Tuesday, July 21st. Please for the flag.
What's it called?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Join me for a brief prayer. We thank you for this beautiful day and be with us as we gather at this time for the purposes of conducting public business. With us with our decisions and all of us as we travel back. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoller?
Here.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Here.
Prior to signing the journal, thanks to the Village of Attica for having us in your fine facilities here and recording for us and everything. Appreciate it. And you got the ground snow all the excitement to miss it. All right, well, the signing of the journal and accept a motion to approve the DVD recording from the previous board session and the index, and that was from July 14th.
So seconded.
The motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thanks. All right, adjustments to the agenda. We need to, anything added on here we do not have?
You have, which I'll need one of your assistants with this. Tanya handed it to Nikki at the end of the day. Mentioned talking to one of the board members about the airport and some rubberized crack filler work. Has Brad talked to any of you about this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then I'll hold that until I can talk to him.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Does it need somebody to come up and look at it?
It's
our responsibility to maintain the runway, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought she said she talked to one of you guys about, either Fred or Mike, about asphalt work out at that Brad had talked to one of you guys about it.
He made a mention of it, but he never said anything about it.
Maybe that's what she meant.
I'll talk to him tomorrow, and then I'll bring it up next session.
I know we
Because
had
I
a
don't-
conversation about that.
It quotes for almost 9,000, but it says if it takes them 4 days, it'll be about 9,000. So I'm not sure what it is.
This is outside the budget they're asking for.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So I'll bring that up next week.
Anything else to add?
I don't know if you want to update the strategic plan or not. We can go through that.
Yeah, let's report on that.
It's actually a public meeting today, but our paper wasn't there.
When people are at the end of their jobs, they sometimes don't think they will show up or not.
Okay then. And I will just read notes about the fair opening. That's good. So, Ken, do you want to go first? Do you want to?
Sure.
I know we've got you down 7:15, I think.
So I'm early.
Let you roll.
So really what I wanted to come together tonight, I was hoping to have some folks from either the Joint Ambulance District and ADR here tonight, but it doesn't appear that they could make it. I know that the coordinators for Attica EMS are both working. They're both registered nurses at the hospitals locally, so they don't get off work until half an hour from now. So it didn't work out that we had those folks here, but I just kind of want to give you guys an update on where we are with the joint ambulance districts that we've been forming. And nothing really new to report other than ADR is doing well here, and they've improved quite a bit with their organization and things like that, and with the elected officials being involved monthly, it does help. I was hoping to get a report from that, but it didn't pan out. So I'll give you a little more of an update on what we're doing with Seneca County EMS. I know you saw recently an addition of a new piece of equipment that we put into service. And actually, it isn't in service yet, we still have training to do on it, but it's a new CPR device called a Rescue CPR. And we've got training from the manufacturer coming. This device is the first device in history that actually normalizes blood flow to the brain during CPR. And I see big things with this device. It is a CPR assist device. It doesn't do it automatically. There's been a lot of press about automatic CPR devices, but this one is required to have the energy of the rescuer providing the pumping action. But what it does is normalizes blood flow to the brain through a combination of things. It's kind of complicated, and I'll demonstrate it to you once we get them in all the ambulances. But really, what it does is, if it does what the FDA says it does, we're going to see some really good results from it.
So we will have it in every one of the ambulances.
Every one of the ambulances and the echo unit. So
Because that's usually the biggest issue is loss of, during a stroke or something, is
Right.
loss of blood to the brain is what causes a lot of permanent damage.
right, and that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to save brains and we're trying to save people, so you have a better quality of life after you are resuscitated.
How much
So
was this cost?
these are about $1,000 a piece, and we got $8,000 in grant money from the state this year, and I spent all of it on that. Another device that we did put in was also it's a back saver more so than life saver. This is a device that it's just a power lift that lifts the oxygen tanks. We went ahead and bought that out of our supply budget. That way we'll decrease the lifting injuries from lifting a large compressed oxygen tank. The oxygen tanks we have in our trucks weigh anywhere from, there's two big tanks. One's about that big, weighs 200 pounds, and the other one's about 90 pounds. So it's a two-person lift, but there's no easy way to get on it with two people. So this lift does all the lifting for you. So those are a couple of things that we're moving forward with. And then also, here to be probably October, we're going to start transitioning towards an all electronic records system. And I think we're going to see some big gains from that as far as the way our bills are handled and the way that our documentation in the ambulance is done. It's called EMS Charts. It's been around for about 15 years, and it's one of the best programs out there for small little rural programs like we have. I think that's really going to be a big help to us. But the rescue pump is the most exciting thing that we've seen in a long time. And that's really what I want to make sure that you guys, if you have any questions about it, I'll make sure I answer them for you. But really what we're trying to get accomplished there is because we don't really have a problem getting people to the scene. The problem we have is we're spread out pretty thin. So we have to have something that makes a difference once we get rescuers to the scene. So this will be utilized by the firemen and the EMS people and pretty much anybody that we can get trained on it. It's not a real high-tech gadget as far as the use of it, but the outcomes are what we're looking for.
We
With
are
that,
the third.
say again.
We are the third.
We are the third agency in the country to get them. It was Oklahoma that started this in March. The FDA approved this device in March, and Oklahoma got it first. Then Lucas County just about 2 weeks ago, and we did this beginning of this past year.
Really?
And the reason why that is they're not for sale yet. They don't go on the market until September. But if you jumped on the bandwagon early and was part of the pre-release, they gave us a discount on the device and also got us into it early. So we're the third EMS organization in the country to have them. So we do our formal training August 11th and 12th, and they'll go in service that day. So as soon as we're done with the training, and what I'm trying to get trained is I'm trying to train all of our CPR instructors and also our coordinators so that they can train everybody else. Because it's too much for one guy to train 300 people. So we're going to get probably 20 to 30 people trained to teach how to use the device, and then we'll send it out. And hopefully, 2 friends and help 2 friends and help 2 friends, and it just grows from there. So that's what we're looking for, and we'll have those things in service here just in the next few weeks. So we've had a lot of irons in the fire with a lot of different projects, and I'm just trying to keep you guys up to speed on where we're spending our money and how that's working for us. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Ken, I guess my question is, certainly, I think those are all great ideas, and we as residents of Seneca County are recipients of those things, but how is the Joint Ambulance District have we started, I shouldn't say hiring, but giving a stipend to new, and how is that helping the overall performance of the squad?
Well, here in
Which
AVR,
squads has that been done
Right.
with, that they have actually started hiring people?
right, in AVR specifically, we've got 3 to 4 people in school or have just graduated, and that's helped a little, and I think more of that word of mouth is going to get out, more people will be joining in. We also have the same thing happening in Newrigal, the NBS EMS district, and also again up in Bettsville. So we've got a lot more people involved. Thing is it's not an overnight payoff because it takes 4 to 6 months, sometimes even longer, to get these people trained. So we invested in it, and we've got people coming, we've got people in school now, we've got people who are just finishing school, and then we've got more people signed up to go to school.
And this again is now that everyone within that joint ambulance district is receiving some sort of a stipend,
Right. They're
not just
receiving-
new people,
Right,
the
they're
existing
receiving-
people there.
Right. They're receiving $3.50 an hour for their on-call time. And really what that is it's $3.50 saying, thank you for scheduling your time. And how that works is they get the $3.50 whether they're on a call or not. And that little bit of a compensation that we pay back to them makes it worth their time a little bit. At least they have something at the end of the month or quarter or however they pay. Here in AVR, they pay quarterly. So some of these folks are seeing pretty good sized checks.
The key is they can stay home, they can mow their lawn, paint their house,
That's
do
the
whatever
goal.
that they want to do the laundry.
And the thing
And-
is, they're still volunteers.
Yes.
Because we're not breaching a threshold of full-time paid people. It's compensation. So we're paying the same people that we would pay, we weren't paying before. The thing is we're just trying to get more people interested to garner the interest to take this out another, and we've been around almost 35 years. So if we can take it another 35 years, and take advantage of the volunteer workforce that we have, a little bit of the compensation spread over a large tax district makes it a lot easier on the pocket than paying full-time.
Well, again, you have a lot of history on the in-service
Yes.
squads.
Mhm.
And now it's gonna be interesting over the next, I'm gonna call it 6 to 18 months
Sure.
to see how that in-service, how well that improves.
Right.
And that right there is gonna be proof of the pudding that,
I agree.
if the system works, or if it doesn't, those that
Sure.
didn't go into it,
Well, and that's the thing. In my mind, what we've done is we've organized and we've mobilized the local elected officials at the township government and the village government. So if they find that over those 6 to 18 months, or whatever goal we shoot for, that it's not really working the way they want to, they already have a mechanism in place to meet, come together, and make decisions on how they want to cover their districts with fully paid staff EMS people or contracted EMS people, or if they want to go a different route. The elected officials make those decisions. And I think what's important is we have those people in place that have been doing the meetings and they know what's going on, getting more involved in the community from the rescue side of the house. And they're the ones that with the decision to spend money or not.
as you know, we certainly know this is more for the benefit of
Sure.
the paper and for the public to get the message out again for those that are interested
Yes.
in that, again, nurses, aides, people that are working in the hospital now,
The interesting thing is that we have a lot of extremely talented people who work very hard for us for very, very little. And we wouldn't necessarily be attracting nurses and doctors and veterinarians and all those types of folks to be EMTs without a system such as what we have. In the full-time paid systems, you get what they are. They are full-time EMTs, paramedics. But here we have emergency room physicians that run squad with us. We have nurses, that have been nurses for 25, 30 years that run with us. And we couldn't afford them otherwise. And so this way, they're volunteers. They get back to their community, and we compensate them a very small amount, but it does make a difference. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, what are the new units called that you got for the ambulances?
They're called Rescue CPR.
SPC, yeah. Are you gonna be able to have, I know you won't be able to demonstrate it because the training hasn't happened, but folks don't see that when they come in
At the fair?
at fair, the
Sure.
public safety
Mhm.
area, I just
Mhm.
wonder if so.
Yeah, we have them. I actually have them
I
in the
mean, it's,
building now.
I'm
I'm
assuming
just
it's
trying to.
not,
No, it's actually very small and
I saw the
compact.
picture, and
Right. Very small and compact, and I'm trying to make sure we get everybody trained, but I will have one out there to demonstrate now.
I just,
And they really don't look like much once you see them, but there's the way that they work together, it's an airway device along with a pump, so that when you push down on the chest, I think everybody in here's probably had CPR of some sort of training. In CPR, normally you just push down and the chest recoils back. This you push down and hold the chest back up. And the negative pressure within the chest sucks blood back into the brain. And I know it seems almost common sense when you do it, but they studied it. They say it increases blood flow to the brain by 49%, almost normalizing the blood flow to the brain during the studies they've done. When they did it in using animal models, they were able to rescue some of them that lived down for longer than an hour. So, I'm not sure what, how do you know what a pig's IQ is before and after, so you don't really know, so. But on the human models testing that they've done since 2006, they've actually had some very good results. They did some studies out west and in Seattle and also in Florida. They used this device in a testing phase, and they were able to almost 50% more people is what they're telling us, which is a remarkably wonderful thing. I think it's a very good CPR device that is the first one of its kind to show that kind of promise.
Well, it was really good in the county of Touch, say why some of the smaller hospitals are very hesitant to actually run things on.
Sure.
Because we have this drug. They almost feel more comfortable to complete or Cleveland or whatever the case is. So because as we all know, no longer you want to stroke, but not being treated, not being damaged and stuff.
Sure.
And this gets it corrected more quickly. That's certainly what
And really what we're trying to do, because we can't be there as quickly as some of like the major cities, we want to make sure the tools we bring to the game are as effective as they can be, as quick as they can be. And then rapid transport to a facility that can handle that type of patient. Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Our agenda we have, Lou, did you have anything you wanted to share, or just be here for the
Just
resolution?
be here
we
in
have?
case you had questions.
Okay. I'm gonna just go on down the old business. Got the update on the Joint Justice Center leadership team. We have been meeting Friday. Things went well. We received 3. I brought these just in case physically anybody wanted to see them. That was here that hasn't gone to our office. Received 3 RFQs, qualifications from firms for the owner's representative. So the group is going back. All 3 of us will complete the rating sheet on these and give them to Stacy to figure out where we're at to determine if we need to discuss anything in one of our meetings, or if we're all on the same page, or where that ends up and so forth. We have the draft of the cooperative agreement that went to everybody in the committee. Derek has been through that. Brent, he has comments from Brent, but yet now the committee and everyone else has it. You guys have sent it to you as well. Comments on that we can certainly feed Derek, or we can have time to discuss with Derek if we wanted to do that. But this would be a good opportunity to make sure we get anything in there, and he's looking out for our interests as Brent is for the city, and hopefully we come up with a cooperative agreement in the end. Again, it's the first draft. I think it's a good first draft, but room for changes to that. Most other significant thing would have been the request for qualifications. A draft version is all we've got so far, but we've got the construction manager at risk and for the design architect firm as well, and the goal to get those out, to finalize those by the by the next meeting on the 30th? And if so, then we'll be able to adopt I guess legislation or resolution that we have to do at this meeting on behalf of both the county and the city on setting date, time, and place for those RFQs being out when they're due back and following all that procedural stuff, which will pretty much be the month of August, because it's about a 30-day process from the time you run the first ad until you have that back. So those are the progress steps. I can take any questions or obviously any other comments can be made.
Well, on the RFQs, on the grading of those, I've done mine. The only thing that I see so far, at least, I'm new at doing it, so you may not get lost in the way it's done. But one of the items is previous experience with this firm, with this county. I think if we give the firms that haven't had experience here a distinct disadvantage by using that number, because it is a decent way to cover number 3. So if you give them, let's say, a 4, or 1 to 1.5, give them 4, they'll give them 12 points. Is that right? Is it a 3 or is it a higher weight?
Background and experience on similar
It's the last
projects.
one. It's the last one.
Oh yeah, satisfactory past performance on this public authority 3.
It's graded on your, not just having experience, but on what the experience is.
No, the experience with the county specifically on previous work.
And the city will also,
Yeah, my point is that if one of the firms has not had experience with the county previously, they have a distinct disadvantage because, as I say, if you give that firm, in this case, Bogomar, 4, they're going to get 12 points. And these other 2 firms are going to get 0.
There's
So,
already a deficit there.
how I rated mine anyways was to rate them with and without previous experience. So even though Bogomar was probably the highest from my standpoint, was because there was an extra 12 points in there for previous experience, but I couldn't get the other 2. So I just don't know. That's the way we do it for a reason, it must be. But it does put people that have never worked for the county at the same.
My concern is I read through the operating agreement, and one thing we talked about is, as we go in this program, that we were fairly insistent that the county be in the lion's share of the project, roughly 70% of the project, that the county would have 2 votes in anything as we go forward. The judges would have 1, and the city would have 1. And as I read the operating agreement, I don't see that that's in there. So that kind of, I have a little bit of an issue with that. Again, the county's the lion's share of this project, and as we I don't want to hash the previous, but there was a study that was done last March, and we have somewhat procrastinated in dealing with the wishes of the city. We've cost the taxpayers about 17 months of delays to the project because of various reasons. Now, some of it certainly is necessary, but assuming that the figures are right, there's roughly a 4.5% increase a year. We've cost the taxpayers. So let's look at $10 million project. That's 4.5. 450,000, 700,000, just in rough numbers. So I mean that concerns me. But then again, and because of us waiting, a lot of this was because of the city. That I have an issue that I think the county needs to have, since we are the lion's share of the project. We need to have 2 votes in this project, with the judges having 1 and the city having the other one. So you look at it in the big picture, if the city and the judges go hand in hand, then we're at a stalemate. If the county and either the city goes together and it's against the judges, we move forward.
Just so you misunderstanding, no matter how many votes there are, it'll take a unanimous vote for anything to pass. So if there was a 2-2 vote on leadership team, under that scenario, it wouldn't make it easier to 1. It doesn't matter. because
We're not voting yet.
it takes a unanimous vote of the voting members of the Joint Justice Leadership Team to approve any items.
I would say if you've got concerns, because it's somewhere in there it talks about the cooperative agreement, or the leadership team, I'm not sure where that's at, like I said, it's been a while ago since I read it. We were waiting on Brent to get back, and Derek wanted to share it at the next meeting, which was the meeting at Friday. And so everybody got it then. Point out where you think that needs to be or where it should be changed, because it's, I know, so there is a reference in there, I just can't tell you what page it is or whatever. We numbered it before we gave it to the committee, because Derek didn't have it numbered.
Yeah.
And talk to Derek about that and let Derek, I mean, he's to protect our interest.
So Mike had gone over with me some concerns that he
Right.
had, so that has gone
And
to
you shared
Derek,
that
and
with Derek?
Derek's going to.
Okay.
And I think that, at this point, Ray, is, I've had some conversation, it is a draft, and, before we approve it, we're gonna need to all sign it as commission.
Yeah.
So it has
So the
to
whole
be-
thing, for this thing to go forward, that it's gotta be unanimous, all three commissioners, the city
No,
council,
no,
or is
no.
the city council,
The leadership team vote has to be unanimous. We are still, as we always have been, 2 out of 3 to make the decision. But the leadership team, by its formation, was decided to vote that to be unanimous. In other words, if we choose a owner's rep, that has to be a unanimous vote to the leadership.
but then that comes back to the commissioners, and then we have to have, as it always is, a majority,
If there are
or is it gotta be unanimous by the commissioners?
No.
If there are 2 commissioners on the leadership team, let's assume that happens. It really doesn't have to go back to the commissioners then, because you've got 2 commissioners who voted for it. So, if it's you and Howie, my opinion doesn't tell a whole lot, because you've already voted, you got a 2-to-1 vote. So, I mean, in essence, that would be the commissioners.
Yeah, but as this, we have one commissioner on the leadership.
Just, as I say, it's still a draft, we've done that. The other thing that concerned me about it was that, they talked about those expenses.
Yep.
And calculating them and not giving us any opportunity to recoup.
Yep.
Any overages, and on the same token, refund any that money.
Yep.
Open charge.
And to clarify the,
Hopefully we get that section. I
the
had a
new
couple of-
construction, you had the new construction clarify that it's not the annex.
Yeah, it said that, it said it's 75-25 on the building, and I just wanted to make it very clear that the annex is not part of, it doesn't say new construction, it says building.
Mhm.
And I believe that the plan is to attach the annex to the new Joint Justice Center, so we wanna make it very clear that it's just the new construction and not.
And the other stuff is the operating expenses, because of the way Maximus is.
Yeah, it's fine that Maximus does it, the problem, and I don't have any problem with them doing it, the problem was is that we, according to that agreement, we estimated the first year.
Oh,
And then, second year, we asked them to pay actual. The problem with that is that what happens, if our estimates for the
Yeah.
first year were either over or under,
Yeah.
there has to be some mechanism in
Yeah, they're
place.
credit back some of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
to get it straight, yeah.
They can't good catch. That's what I do. So you're communicating anything we do to you, Derek?
Yep.
So I think the key to this, Robert, is that this is a draft. And that, there has been some discussions, and I think that we're in, 3 of us are in, similar agreement that, there isn't any real concern about asking for 2 votes. And that, we decided, the committee decided to go for the meeting, and that takes away the concern about sunshine laws that were there when we talked about having the meeting closed.
One of the,
Since Brittany's not gonna be there anymore, what difference is it?
Not gonna be in the meeting?
Oh,
one
they
other,
won't take care of us.
one other update that came, in an email after that meeting is, they want to set up a meeting for, I don't know if you wanna call it a finance portion. They've asked me to get a commissioner and Julie, Ross Sinclair, John Larson, and, a commissioner. So, to set on this, the meeting will be Friday at 2:00. So, or the 31st, the 31st.
I think from a financial standpoint, Mike, with your experience, that you were certainly much better suited with that, understanding finance much better than I did.
I exploit ample time.
So that will be Friday, the 31st at 2 o'clock. So we'll do that. That way we can get those discussions started since there's been some different suggestions. So they want to get those.
And the only other thing on that is when we have the 30th, we put the 14th as a keep on hold, but not planning to meet, and then added the 28th, because if things fell in place to get the RFQs out for the CMR and that, the 28th, again, would be the due date of those qualifications, and we'd be able to report to the group, okay, we received X number of them,
And what I can tell on the calendar, you guys were okay.
That's the other point in that operating agreement, the draft operating agreement. They said specifically in there that the city would do their own financing and the county would do their own financing.
Yep.
And that's probably true, but not necessarily.
Right, yep.
So I think there needs to be some language that says in the event that we decide to join finance.
Yep.
Some,
Yep.
With, there's provision in the operating agreement on that.
Yep. I think that's what kind of spurred wait a minute, we gotta get our finance guys together.
Yeah.
And I think the city, I don't know if they actually decided, but they've been in conversation with Russ and Claire and are leaning towards using them as well.
Well, the assumption was the city might be able to get the money a little cheaper because it would be general obligation bond.
Yep.
As opposed to our sales tax bond.
Yes.
But if you consider separate legal counsel, you consider separate underwriting,
Yep.
that difference, maybe a quarter of a %, so that would go very quickly.
Yeah.
With the soft costs, that would be involved on the project.
Yeah.
All right, next thing under old business, we added strategic plan update. Mike, I'll let you lead that, we did that this morning.
Yeah, we kind of all went through, to give our three areas of responsibility. Mr. Zoller has taken the transportation area, and the infrastructure. So Stacy, I think you changed the name of your committee from external communication to
IT/communications.
IT/communication. Mine's pretty simple, buildings. Master facilities and property plan is how it's really, that's what we're at. We brought everyone up to date, and I'll let my fellow commissioners talk about their areas. We have met in my specific area, talking about doing a view of all the county buildings. We're going to walk through all of those, and I think that there are maybe some hidden concerns that we need to be made aware of. Roofs, some HVAC systems, those kind of things. Sometimes we're happily blind not to know about future problems, but I think we're better off aware of them. Hopefully, get some preventative maintenance, and also because of the probability of a new Justice Center, we want to make certain that we have a culture in place to maintain buildings well in the future. I'm not sure that we've been able to do that, not because of anything, not blaming anybody. It's just that money hasn't been available to do the kinds of things that we ought to do from a preventative standpoint. We are blessed right now with enough money to be able to do these kind of things. So let's take a look at it and see what makes the most sense. Holly's working hard on finalizing the Justice Center plan. We need to develop a plan for the RTA building, the recorder treasurer, and the auditor's building to make certain that that thing is functioning as it should. Ken talked about storage. Hopefully we can get everybody to electronic storage as soon as possible. We got buildings busting to see paper isn't probably necessary in the future. So if we do that stuff scan, we talked about, and again, that crosses over in the Holly's area of technology. And then talk about, again, a proactive approach. Hopefully the county being involved in some type of industrial site development so that the city of Tiffin, the county of Seneca is involved in promoting manufacturing firms or whatever it might be, putting in place the infrastructure necessary to attract as we said, it's easy to show somebody a cornfield, but if you got something there that, is actually developed, you're more likely to attract that. So that's money, I know that, how you wanna talk about?
Yes, our IT communications, brief summary, I didn't bring all my notes with me, though, of the different priorities that were given to us to look at, because we're just figuring out what is our IT system operating as, and is there any standardization we could do with that by having a IT data center, where we can have the infrastructure there for the backup for everybody versus the individual servers that exist around the county departments now. And then as well with that, separate from the backup stuff, but you could have the, and the data storage, you could have the standardization of software to operating systems and all of those kinds of things versus, some departments, are better at probably keeping themselves up. We all have different resources we use for this. Could we potentially pool things and save money, which does that mean we have to have an IT department eventually? But these are all the kinds of things that we're looking at. And then including, of course, all of the communications and stuff related with emergency services. But the other thing, just in general, that I thought was great about this is that Commissioner Kirschner had talked to Dr. Christensen, who helped us again, and afterwards he says, I really like working with you guys. I'm thinking, that's pretty good. That means he'll come back again if we want him, right? But he did say he thinks it's exciting to be part of this, and he's really enjoying it. He's a retired professor, right? And he's challenged us to make sure that with these individual, each of us got so many priorities in these areas, but that we come back and have identified the participants, the time frame, and the performance measures on them. That really kind of puts the, meaning to each one as we look at those, and that'll be our challenge as we move forward with our individual committee meetings. That way, bringing that material back to this joint meeting like we did today with everybody, putting that into that document is going to make it a pretty meaningful document at that point once we get there. So it's taking some time, but
I have the participants already.
Yeah, and time well spent. So that's what I've got to say about mine.
Yeah. I've, as a matter of fact, I've had a conversation with Dr. Christensen this afternoon, and I personally think he is very key to this project with his background in academia, his background in the military. It's one thing to come up with a strategic plan. We all have done it. Nice binder sitting on a shelf, nothing gets done. And I think this is where Dr. Christensen can help us immensely here. Is we come up with a strategic plan, but I think he can help us is make it enforceable and give us direction on how to implement it. Because the key is the implementation here. Going back to the charge that I had, which is and what we are doing is coming up with a comprehensive plan for the road infrastructure. It's easy for us to say, well, we need this, we need that, we need that. The last time that there was a plan done, I guess, was in 2002. Some of the issues that we have we have to face is, we have to come up with a plan, but then the next step, or almost maybe simultaneously, we have to look at how we're going to finance this plan. And one of the suggestions that's coming up that we're investigating is possibly dealing with the lobbyists. It all comes down to Columbus and ODOT and getting money from them. So if we can not only come up with this plan, but also in the process work with some lobbyists to get the ear of the right people down in Columbus, and we're talking years down the road. I mean, this plan's going to take 6 to 9 months to really unveil it, and then from there, to get in the budget, we're talking 2017 at the very earliest. But unfortunately, without a plan, the first thing you do is when you go to ODOT, they want to see the plan. You do that, but yet we don't want to just implement a plan unless we also implement a procedure of how we're going to get this thing sold down at Columbus at the same time. So it says everything else in the county, it's going to require some money and some work on that. But money's going to be a large part of it, and we will have to, as we outline the budget for next year, I would sincerely suggest that we try to allocate some funds for that. Fortunately, is the plan that we're coming up with, the vast majority of that is being paid through by regional planning. And, I have made a statement, I don't have a vote from my fellow commissioners yet, that we would contribute some additional resources to that plan in the city, with the mayor being on president of regional planning, has somewhat committed with approval of city council that they would contribute to that. So a lot of pieces fitting together here, but it's all gonna come down to cost and what we can afford. But a comprehensive road plan for Seneca County is way outdated, and we gotta do that, and not only come up with a plan, but then to work with however we're gonna do it at the state. If we're gonna wear the roads out running down to Columbus in 23 ourselves, or if we're gonna hire the right people to do it, that's a decision that we have to make in the coming months. And I would suggest that as we start this plan, that we discuss this in open session with fellow commissioners to see if we wanna do both simultaneously or not.
And on the comprehensive plan, that regional planning, they had budgeted for that because that was the increase they put in there for contract services in their budget for this year. So they have at least a chunk of money set aside. I didn't want anybody to think that they didn't know they were gonna do that and they have no money. They had a chunk of money set aside. I don't know what they're finding out, if they're gonna, if no one's gonna do it for that amount of money or what, but that they did have some money
They
set
have
aside.
about 75% of the cost of the project as we've let this out for bid. The RFQs that come in and they vary the various respondents for it, but as we see it, the regional planning, it's got about 75% of that. We may be short $20,000, and of that could possibly be made up between the city and the county.
What the revenue is gonna get money, so I didn't want to think that they didn't plan for it.
Yeah, no. There certainly is funds there.
You tell me the plan's gonna be 100,000?
Well, without letting the cat out, I might as well let the cat out of the bag there. The regional planning's got 60, and the plan, the various proposals, and these are still somewhat negotiable. But I hate to get it in the paper here.
No, you don't get it, don't say any specifics, but by what you said,
Yeah.
percentages you use, it's just a quick calculation, but
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is that they're gonna be about 20 or 25% short, whatever that number is.
Yeah, at the most.
That wraps up our strategic session we had today, that plan moving forward as we're trying to get it developed and the individual teams working on that. Everything else would be good. Of old business, we can move to the new business. I'll just mention so I don't forget is that the fair opening, we all received the letter by now, but the official opening of the Seneca County Fair is Monday. They'll do the ribbon cutting at 8 a.m. Those that invited to. And they're hoping they'll come to attend. So.
I will not be able to make the living.
Health insurance, do you have that one?
I do. Well, it's not a happy story, unfortunately. In 2014, the county enjoyed a rate increase, but it was only 1%. But our claims versus premiums were about 86%. In other words, of the premiums that we paid, they paid us back 86% of that. So that then caused a 1% increase. To make a long story longer, our claims this year so far, at least through March, have been about 120% of what the premiums have been. There are five individual cases that have caused most of this. One of those individuals is leaving, but the county failure is good. But history is what it is. In whole numbers and real numbers, if we have, this is just an if, there will be a double-digit increase. They range from 10 to 20% someplace. So, having said that, if it were 15%, the net cost to us as the board or as the county would be about $216,000. The net cost to the employees, their portion, unfortunately, would be about $54,000. Spread amongst all staff. So we are now, as I think everyone knows, the county pays 80%. The employee pays 20% of the premium. So the total increase, if it were 15%, would be 270, breaking that down. If it were 15%, we don't know what that number is. The point is, it's a significant.
And that's the number we would find out in there right around Labor Day weekend.
Yes, they're trying
Somewhere
to
around
get
there when that meeting is scheduled.
Yeah, it's the Friday before Labor Day. They are trying to scoot that date up some so we can get our numbers earlier, because that's
Yeah,
what
the end of
we're-
August is the best.
Well, they thought possibly they might be able to get a good indication as to what it's going to be before. Or we just need to know that for budget purposes, and we have to be prepared for it. It's unfortunate, it's just a tough situation.
Did they talk about at that meeting, the wellness stuff at all?
They did. I think Bob mostly talked about it, Bob Anderson, and there are fewer and fewer people following.
because we had to basically step back.
Yeah.
And that's what the committee said to Bob, please make sure they understand that we had a stabilized plan in place, and it's actually causing backpedaling in our plans.
I'm confused. I think we contribute about 50,000 a year to the wellness plan with that number.
Yes.
Right.
So I thought it's in that. What do you mean by stepping
But the
back?
people have to earn it,
Yeah.
and so people aren't as actively participating this year, I guess
Because
that's what
of
you're
the
saying?
because of the requirements when we had to go with Staywell. When we were doing the wellness committee, we had
It was
we were
stricter.
getting pretty strict at the requirements you needed to get the discount, which would be our contribution. And then Sebco came in and said, we're going to use Staywell. Well, because Staywell's trying to incorporate all of the counties. Some counties have never even talked wellness.
Yeah.
Whereas we were well established into a wellness program, so we had to kind of step back.
We
make
started
it-
using theirs and it's not as strict.
Right.
I think, I'm not sure of this number, but I think I remember Bob saying that the people that sign up for it, 49% of their
Yep.
cost completed.
Yep.
So somewhere about 50% of the people that actually say they're gonna do it, do it.
And I don't know what that percentage was years before, but.
He said the percentage is not off that much.
No.
It's kind of typical, but I'm getting people because of the
Yep.
requirements.
He said the lunch and learns participation have decreased because most of these, like I said, 49% have already got the points already. So their participation in some of their events now are
Yeah.
being less attended because people already have their points, so they're not staying engaged. So that was his concern, and the insurance committee's concern. And
But there will still be an option for that wellness in the next year, hopefully.
Yep.
Nothing else on that, we'll continue on with what else is listed here, and it starts with our bill vouchers.
Okay, I have bill vouchers, batch number 3549, 4041, and 4039. I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the Seneca County Sewer District Fund, moving $5,000 from equipment to transfers out, and $34,400.32 from contract services to the transfers out, for total moved of $39,400.32. I have an appropriation adjustment for the ditch maintenance fund, moving $10,000 from contract services to maintenance assessments, and $500 from contract services to the DRETAC line, for total move $10,500. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the probate court computer research fund, putting $385 into their contract service line. I have a resolution declaring the necessity for levy of taxes in excess of the 10 mills. This is for the on behalf of the Opportunity Center. I have a resolution to designate the official representative and alternate for the purpose of voting at the annual meeting of the County Commissioners Association of Ohio in 2015. And we just followed our Holly Stacy as the designee because she's president this year, and we have Mike down as a designated alternate.
Yeah, because they won't let Stacy just because she's not an elected official. That's what we tried to do last year, because you and Stacy are normally the ones to go down to those meetings, but they won't let her be on it because she's not an elected official. So
I have a resolution authorizing contract agreement with Infinity Software Solutions Incorporated on behalf of Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services. I have a resolution accepting the bid and authorizing an agreement with M&B Asphalt for the Issue 1, Round 29, 2015 Seneca County Township Road Reconstruction Program. Their total bid amount was $1,039,351.43. And I have a resolution rescinding the board's orders of July 7, 2015, volume 91, page 311, a supplement to the permanent appropriation for the Sheriff's Commissary Fund.
What is that?
It's the account that gets accumulated so they can buy, I don't want to say extras, but stuff that isn't normal. They can purchase TV time, different things that they can, phone time, they can, different things, and I'm guessing we just...
that was the dryer one.
What were we sending?
Were we sitting it, did we have something wrong with it? Is that
They purchased a dryer out of it, I guess. Something must have happened to one of theirs, and Derek said that they couldn't use that fund for the purchase of the dryer. Yeah.
And it ended up being an insurance claim anyway.
Yeah.
And I have a resolution establishing the SFY 16 Community Corrections Fund 1076. And that's all the resolutions I have.
Are there a motion to approve?
What I'd like to do is I'd like to pull off the levy taxes and let's hear about the merits of that. You can have some opportunity to talk about the purpose of the levy and why we'd like to see it passed.
Sure. That's a motion to approve that one?
Yes, I would
necessity
approve
for
that. I would take that separately. I think it's important enough to take separately.
Yep.
Move to approve that. I'd like to
And I would second that
have an
too.
opportunity to do some discussion.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to declare the necessity for the levy of taxes in excess of the 10 mil limitation on behalf of the Seneca County Opportunity Center. And with Mrs. Lou Hurst, and we'll let you tell us some more information
Sure.
before we vote.
Sure. The Opportunity Center, we have been operating for over 50-some years. It has been 14 years since we've asked for new money. We have strategically tried to do as many things as we can internally to reduce any additional taxes. However, due to state tax cuts, increases in the number of children with autism, the demand for our services continue to increase. So we are asking the commissioners to put a levy on the ballot this November to support the Opportunity Center as continual operations. We provide services starting with children birth to 3 and early intervention. As those children grow up, we have a school program of about 50 children, and then those children go into our adult services program where we provide supports to about 200 adults and assist them with work to what ability to their individual abilities. So some folks may do arts and crafts. Some folks may work at a job site through doing piecework and are able to earn a wage, and then therefore they're able to contribute back to the community. In addition to that, we've been supporting about 40 individuals in community employment. A lot of things that people don't know is we also have a growing need for residential supports for folks. A lot of people see the ECI vans and vehicles in the community. You may see REM vehicles. Those are all funded by us through contract services. We have a number of providers that we contract with to provide services for residential supports. And residential supports are anywhere from going into an adult's home for an hour to maybe help them balance a checkbook or take them to the grocery store to for some folks that require 24-hour supervision. We have a nonprofit housing corporation that we work with that maintains 12 homes throughout Seneca County. And those are places for folks to live. We've worked with WSOS to get those homes. The last 3 homes were donated free of charge through neighborhood stabilization funds in Fostoria. So overall, I think things are going very, very well, except for
when we project forward, we need additional revenue to continue services at the level that we're serving folks.
Is the project on South Washington Street part of this? Do you know where we're putting it? Housing for,
By the Betty Jean
yeah,
area?
it's out by.
That is not with us, but that's kind of associated with us. So the developmental center is downsizing, and they're also bringing folks from other developmental centers into Tiffin that will reside in that home. And they're gonna ask us, we're in negotiations now to provide day services to those folks. So they'll come into our shelter workshops during the day. And then there's also one, out on 224 that they're building. Those are all state projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks
Welcome.
for coming over there.
Oh, no problem.
On this resolution, if there's any further comments, call the roll.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. Approved.
Thank you.
I move for a motion to approve all the other items.
I second that.
The motion and second to approve all the other resolutions as stated. Any questions? Call the roll.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. All approved. Thank you. That leaves us an opportunity for citizens' comments at this time. Is there anyone who would like to make any comments? Seeing none,
Easy peasy.
do I have a motion to adjourn?
To make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
A motion and a second that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Adjourned.